Have you ever seen such an outrageous exam scene? The proctor clearly stated that candidates were not allowed to cheat, yet every candidate below was cheating. Some could use X-ray vision to copy answers, some could hear the answers with their ears, and others used insects to cheat. This was simply unbelievable. And this was only the first exam of the Chunin selection exams. Proctor Ibiki Marino then explained the rules for this test. At the start, everyone had 10 points. Each question was worth 1 point, and each wrong answer would deduct 1 point, for a total of 10 questions. But the final question would only be announced 45 minutes after the start of the exam. If you were caught cheating, 2 points would be deducted each time. And finally, whether a team passed depended on the total score of its 3 members. Now the pressure shifted to Naruto, who was always at the bottom of the class. For him, answering even one question correctly was harder than becoming Hokage. Soon, Naruto calmed himself down, thinking that with so many questions, there was no way he couldn't answer at least one. But upon closer inspection, he really couldn't answer a single one. On the other side, Sasuke was also surprised to find he couldn't answer any questions, but he quickly realized the secret behind the test. With questions this difficult, there was no way students like them could solve them. So the real focus of this exam was on the ninja's information gathering skills. In other words, you could cheat, but you couldn't get caught. That's why there must have been candidates among them who already knew the answers. At this moment, Naruto hadn't realized any of this, and was trembling from the pressure of the exam. Meanwhile, those who reacted quickly had already started to act. Gaara used sand to create a fake eye to cheat from a distance. Kankuro disguised his puppet as a proctor. Kiba Inuzuka used his ninja dog Akamaru to copy answers, and Shino Aburane used his ever-present insects to gather answers. The Sound Village's cheating method was even stranger. He could figure out answers just by listening to the sound of others writing. Time ticked by second after second, and only Naruto still didn't know that cheating was actually allowed in this exam. Just then, Hinata offered Naruto her help, saying he could copy her answers. At that moment, Naruto felt incredibly lucky. But as he was about to cheat, a kunai suddenly flew past his face, stabbing into the desk of the person behind him. It turned out someone had been caught cheating 5 times in a row. Those caught cheating were disqualified from the exam along with their teammates. This scared Naruto out of his wits. To avoid getting Hinata in trouble, he gave up the chance to cheat. Meanwhile, Neji activated his Byakugan and took in all the answers at a glance. And Sasuke used his Sharingan to directly copy others' answer movements. As time continued to pass, the exam finally reached the 45-minute mark, and the final question was about to be announced. But before that, there was a despair-inducing requirement. You had to choose whether or not to take the 10th question. If you chose not to answer, you would be immediately disqualified, along with your teammates. If you chose to answer but got it wrong, you would permanently lose the right to participate in the Chunin exams, meaning you'd be a genin for life. Many couldn't stand the pressure and raised their hands to forfeit. At this moment, Sakura, wanting to protect Naruto's dream, was about to forfeit. But unexpectedly, Naruto raised his hand first. Was he going to forfeit on his own? Then he suddenly slammed his hand on the desk, and shouted, "One question is too little, give me 2 more. His outburst shocked everyone in the room. Ibiki was very satisfied with Naruto's answer upon hearing it, and immediately announced that everyone present had passed. Just like that, Naruto managed to pass for no apparent reason. It turned out that this exam was not only about information gathering skills, but also about psychological endurance, willpower, and the courage to face challenges. Just then, the proctor for the second exam, Anko Mitarashi, suddenly burst in through the window. She said she would eliminate at least half the candidates, and then led the remaining ones to the forest of death. When Ibiki was collecting the papers, he discovered that Naruto, that little troublemaker, had actually turned in a blank sheet.